This is the proposal to amend the Constitution to extend the term of elective office from 5 to 7 years. Our first guest is Honorable James Kakooza, State Minister for Primary Health Care, but more importantly, the architect of this proposal, also the architect of the 2005 constitutional amendment that removed term limits from the presidency. We also have Mr. Asuman, Basalirwa, President of the Justice Forum Party, also known as JEEMA. You'll be able to call in and ask them questions. Honorable Kakooza, where has this worked?
No, I'm telling you. Let me put it this way, because my brother has been saying that the government has been here for the last 25 years. But what were the systems around? A multi-party system, the way how it works is not the same as a movement system. It cannot be. A multi-party system, the manifesto of that multi-party system, the party in power, it sets the agenda.
Yes.
In the movement system, it's not.
It's consensus.
It's consensus.
Right.
But here, even when you make a budget of that national infrastructure, it's set within the manifesto.
It comes from the manifesto
of that party.
Let's get something clear. In theory, the party has command over the government.
The government.
They can recall the president like happened in South Africa.
Exactly. Yes. It can happen. Look at Tony Blair.
You are joking.
They said you are not performing, come back, and his term was cut off.
Right.
It was a party. So the multi-party system cannot be as a movement system. This one is totally different one. If you go by Henry Kunz, the definition of systems are never the same. If you read books and research, a multi-party system, how it works, it cannot be as the same. Because you look for the people who are going to implement your manifesto. Look at the developed world.
Yes.
The Republicans, once they capture power, they go back and get their own people. The Democrats get their own people who can perform.
True.
So that the government can be voted in power.
Again, yeah.
And the moment you float a manifesto of that party, it works very hard with its people to implement that manifesto, that it's given another mandate. This is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about, let's give a general argument. I'm not saying that by 2016, I don't know, they might vote for UPC, they might vote for NRM, they might vote for PP. But the point is, what the terms, the cost benefits are put within 2 years to be wasted for public service delivery, doing nothing. And what's the agenda? So, you see, when you are developing a process of economy, infrastructure, there must be consistency of developing policies. There must be consistency of those human resources who can implement your agenda. And it's not developed a day or a night. That's why government today, why it's succeeding, it's because of good governance with a leader whose vision who has been there to stabilize this country. I can tell you, most of the successful stories we have, you look at Rwanda. Yes. People have been saying we should give credit where it's due.
Yes.
He's saying that because Rwanda copied from France. But I'm telling you, this man concentrates 5 years of his manifesto.
Delivering the promises.
Delivering the promises.
Yes.
If it were 3 years, could he have delivered? People should stop being theoretical and go practical. I want to ask him, now from May up to now, I want somebody to tell me how much have we invested in and how much has benefited the public.
Let's stretch it a little bit.
Arguments.
Honorable Kakooza, let's stretch it a bit. Technically, you pass. I can say that. Technically, your argument makes a lot of sense. But let's get the political. The political.
And I'm not setting it because now. Because most of the people are saying, whose interest is it?
Fair enough.
It's not for NRM.
Let's get it clearly this time.
It's not for NRM.
In 2005, you said we should remove the term limits. Now you're saying you want to restore the term limits.
No. This does not concern the term limits. Term limits are totally different from the term of office.
Well, you're saying
elective offices.
Yeah, but
the period of elective offices.
You're putting in
it's not term limits.
You're putting in a kicker saying we can restore the term limits.
It depends to the people how they want it, because also term limits are outdated when you look at the environment today. Because the people have the power to vote for the person they want or they reject.
What do you mean voting?
For term limits.
Yes.
Even if today people say, you're a chairman of LC1, we don't want you, and you go for elections. So long as there are elections in that country, there is free democracy, people to exercise their right.
Mr.
They can vote you out.
Mr. Basalirwa. You seem to agree. It seems you've been. We can listen to hear the callers. Listeners, this is Spectrum on.
No. I was just being courteous because you accorded the minister more time. But let me just say one thing: we don't work at the same pace. One of the reasons why Honorable Kakooza is finding a problem with the 5 years is that naturally, as NRM, they are slow. And the reason why they are slow is because of corruption.
That's why they are voting.
Power. Yeah, but
let's say you're on corruption.
Through what? Yes, through corruption. I'll give you an example.
Yes.
Negotiating a construction deal, for example.
Yes.
Will take a long time because of balancing between the kickback to government officials and what the one who has won the contract will be availed with in order to be able to finish the project. So when he talks about a lot of time in planning a project, he must be very courteous and also responsible to the listeners and say, we also have a problem.
Normally, how long should it take, for instance?
No, what is so sacrosanct about negotiating a deal? Number two, let me tell you.
Can you tell me any proposal, any projection of any infrastructure which does not have a grace period?
Are they uniform? Are they uniform?
Even if they are not uniform,
are they
there is a grace period.
When you take all over years, there is a grace period. Do you know there are countries that go to the World Bank and IMF and get a loan far much quicker than others? Why?
Because of their rating.
Why?
They've done better.
Why? No. Yes, exactly. So and when he talks about the World Bank
and the corruption indicators are good,
and taking long to get a loan from the World Bank, don't export the incompetence and inefficiency on you,
Mr. Basalirwa,
and make it collective.
There is no financial projection. There is no financial projection. Let's does not have a grace period.
Yes, but is it uniform? I want you to tell me that to negotiate a loan in the World Bank, it takes 2 years across board.
Let's get it clear for the benefit. Let's be fair.
Don't be incompetent. Then assume he is talking about politicking.
Let's get it clear.
Do you think everybody spent the same amount of time in politicking?
Let's get it very clear.
The time spent uniform?
Mr. Basalirwa,
I'll tell you, for example, Honorable Chanjo.
Can I inform him?
I'll tell you, Honorable Chanjo had about 4 rallies. 4 rallies. So the styles of politicking differ. So when you bring in arguments that you waste a lot of time in this, you waste a lot, those are pedestrian arguments.
Let's hear from our listeners. But before we do that, I would like to get one thing clear. You guys are not doing very well on the corruption front. Just around about the election time, it wasn't running the local press, but out of Washington, the IMF suspended a loan because they said what they agreed with the government was not what they were doing. There were a lot of things that changed. So in terms of corruption, you guys are not doing very well.
Talk about the Dutch.
Not Uganda alone, but even on that angle, I want to ask you, how many years did Obama spend when he's campaigning?
Well, let's hear from the listeners. We have to be fair to them. This is Spectrum on Radio 1. Tonight we're looking at we're asking the question, in whose interest is the proposal to amend the Constitution to extend the term of elective office from 5 to 7 years. You can call in now. Our telephone number is 0414-348-111, 0312-260-390, 0791-909-909. When you call in, please tell us your name and your address, where you're calling from. Yes. Okay, Mr. Basalirwa, wait for the callers. Yes, go on.
So we will be in the class. All of us will sit in class.
Yes.
At the end of the time.
Okay, we have someone on the line. Yes, my friend, your name, sir? Or madam?
Hello?
Yes, your name?
Yeah, Jeffrey is my name. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Please switch off your radio and go ahead with your comment.
After I'm away from the radio now. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, Jeffrey is my name. I thank you for this good topic. And at one time I heard our president say that we should stop comparing Uganda with these other African countries, whereby it's like a blind man leading another one. So when I hear our honorable minister talking of having 7-term limits like the cases in Rwanda, really I don't think that we should be comparing Uganda with Rwanda in as far as that type of leadership is concerned. I would suggest that we should look at issues like America, the way they do it. I think it is 4-term limits. Why do we have to go for 7? Really, that's being, maybe there is some hidden agenda. Thank you.
All right. Your name, sir?
Hello?
Yes, can you switch off your radio?
Hello?
Your name? Yes? Hello?
Good evening.
Good evening, your name?
Hello?
Hello, we can hear you and you're live on air. Your name?
Yeah, good evening. My name is Mehdi Mwiri. Asuman, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Hello, my name is Mehdi Mwiri. I would like to make a contribution.
Please go ahead, sir.
Now, first of all, I totally disagree with Honorable Kakooza on two issues. One, when you talk of developmental democracy, and you are talking of 7-year term, first of all, how do you come up with 7 years? Why not 10? Why not 12? Why not 20? How do you come up with 7 years? What is so special with 7 years? That's the first question. Now, number two, when you talk of a developmental democracy, are you mindful of all the ingredients of democracy and how far we've gone? When today there is contempt of court, there is a high court order stopping, recounting of votes. But somebody goes on and neglects that. And then you're talking of a developing democracy. What kind of development in democracy is this? And then, of course, sadly, the timing. You could be having a very proper idea. You need to initiate it for debate. But why now? When we've witnessed a situation where people have had ballots stuffed, where we've witnessed a situation where voting has been suspended in other areas, we're witnessing a situation that has got to bring people together as one country. Why the timing? What is so special for this to happen at this time?
All right. I think you made a very important, I must say, contribution there, Mehdi. Let's go to our next caller. Spectrum, hello?
Hello?
Your name?
Yeah, I think Mr. Kakooza has a problem.
Your name again?
My name is Hussein.
Hussein.
Yes, I think Mr. Kakooza really has a problem. That is not development democracy. In any case, the reason why they have taken so long is because they have been bribing